Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Welcome back to another 4-color paneled, up on the big screen, action-packed bonanza as superheroes from across the multiverse duke it out in our all comic books movie ending. This is the season of Mighty Cosmic Crit. I am your Stanley-like man making a cameo in all these intros, aka you can call me your GM Patrick. Joining me are the gods among mankind here, your players, my heroic 5 friends across the digital table from me. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's the spectacular Miles playing Raimi.
Good evening.
On my right, don't get him angry at his role. You wouldn't like him angry at his role. It's the incredible Tyler playing Adros.
That's my secret. I'm always angry at my roles.
To his left, she pins her Solarian web and traps the bad guys just like flies. Look out, here comes Rebecca playing Alindra.
Hello.
I wrote this before, you indeed did do that and pinned bad guys last week, which is hilarious. To my left, he's the hero this podcast needs, but not the one it deserves. Our mouthy sentinel, aka Drew playing Feldspar.
Haha.
And finally, to his left, he will lasso you with a rope made out of magic evolution. It's Jaberta Xandus 148.
Hey.
And 147.
Wonder Woman 47.
Ooh, not 147, but the number of the night is 261. that is the episode. Then this is the final chapter of season 4 of Cosmic Crit. How are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I don't know. It's a little bittersweet. Like, it was bittersweet to say goodbye to these characters after season 1 was over. That was hard enough. And now we've returned to them and are having to say a final goodbye to them because there's nowhere to go from here.
No level 21 for these cats.
We talked about trying to make a level 21 just so that we can maybe squeeze out one another adventure, but
we'll see in the future. But right now, no more high level combats. I think I'm done for a little while.
All good for now.
The whiplash we are about to receive going to level 1 combat is going
from level 20. Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
Hurt so bad.
Cannot wait. Speaking of the intro earlier, do you guys know why I chose superhero intros for this season of Cosmic Crit season 4?
Because no superheroes.
The Drift Rider crew indeed are the superheroes of our little corner of the Cosmic Critterverse. Indeed, this season has proven that to me, your villain in this scenario that's tried to foil you week in and week out. But yeah, I gotta say, you guys have risen to the occasion and willingly put your ostensibly favorite PCs that you've made in harm's way over and over again, nonstop. Like multiple books of like no rests, just encounter after encounter,
oh my gosh,
week after week.
You're telling me.
Very commendable. Yeah.
I feel like the only time I ever had full resolve points was when we started book 1.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. Enjoy them. You're never seeing these again.
I mean, I guess because of the nature of Raimi, I've always been like flush with resolve points. I mean, even with this book, I still have like 13 resolve points left.
Yeah, definitely not.
Patrick, all I'm hearing is
oh no, I am. But remember, I also get a resolve point every time I use a level 6 spell.
True that. What, Tyler?
All I heard was you did not hit Raimi enough.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also that. Like, I also didn't have to use resolve points very often because
there's still time. How dare he didn't run into fisticuff combat every episode.
Exactly. Saying I didn't use my resolve points.
Season 4 here has been a long one. almost as long as season 1. And think about that. You know, we went from level 13 to level 20 in the last 62 episodes. I believe season 1 was 71 episodes, and that was level 1 to level 13. So high level combats like the one the last couple weeks can go a couple ways, fast and dirty or long and drawn out. I believe we got to turn 7 in that combat, but this week it's going to be a little bit quieter of an episode, as this is the denouement of this season. We're going to put the final nail in Devastation Ark, as well as Dominion's End Book 3.
Were we supposed to pick up a nail?
Several to put in the coffin, indeed, yes.
Well, that was your job. That was Nack's job.
I probably got one in a cheek pouch.
I think you probably do. I mean, careful. I might have spat it out back when we body swapped, so you might need to go back to that one room and pick them up.
Are you guys ready to get into this week's episode?
Oh, hit me with your saddest, just the biggest gut punches. Give me the tear jerkers.
Oh well, I can make some promise. We're gonna have some talk of childbirth this episode. We're gonna have you're gonna have a funeral. There's going to be new deals and new worlds to explore, but let's get into it and start off where we last left off last week. You guys have basically gained total control of the AI computer systems for Devastation Ark, as you've expunged all vestiges of the evil AI Varanche from the system. As part of that fight, Andis 148 seemed to diffuse themselves into another copy of themselves and has made an ephemeral manifestation of Andis 147. And this lasts for minutes at a time. Is that right, Jabber?
No, I can sustain it for a number of minutes. Really, it's really, I mean, I don't know. I've mathed it out a little bit. It's like 2 minutes is probably the maximum that I can sustain it for.
So
and
not a lot of
rounds.
Not a lot of time, but does anybody want to take at least the beginning part of a 10-minute rest with an old friend out of combat here? Start patching up wounds?
Let's gather around.
Yeah, sure.
Cathlo's a little confused seeing two Andises, and it's like, you are a synthetic being, and you spawned creating a second synthetic being. Is this the equivalent of childbirth with your peoples in your culture?
Is this what you meant when you said that this was going to involve childbirth?
I fulfill my promises, Jabert. Okay, I fulfill them. What is it proper in your culture? Should I get you a present? Should I shower you with presents?
That's right. You need a Andis baby shower.
I think Alindra, is still reeling from this fight. She's standing right next to Andis 147, right? Yeah, right next to them. And I think it's going to take a moment to look incredulously at them and then say, Andis, is that you? The old you, I mean?
Oh, yes, it would have been true either way. It's great to be here. It's lovely to speak with you again. My, you've I look at your like your like kit, and I'm like, wow, you guys found money, huh? That's pretty cool.
Andis 148 is in a giant mecha. He's towering over you. Like, yeah, you found some good stuff out there.
Andis, I want you to know that your legacy has not been forgotten, and the new Andis has carried that on in quite a respectable way. I think you should be very proud of what you have left behind.
I appreciate that very much. Yes, I taught him everything he knows, I say. Thank you, Alindra. It is indeed very good to see you again as well.
I think Raimi would probably materialize a flask to sip out of and walk up to Andis and would say something to the degree of like, hey, bud, I know you're not here for very long, so if you would indulge me one last time, and then would start to do some of the dance that he and Andis had done on top of the bar at the old Fusion Queen.
Oh no, my hips start twitching of their own accord. What's happening?
And just do a little dance together.
I mean, yeah. I dance the night away. That's great.
Well, as you're dancing, I think some of the nanites, the bits and bobs of Andis 147 begin to degrade to like the,
this is my stop.
The glass slipper turning or the dress turning back into normal. The end of the ball.
Yes. Well, everyone, this is where I leave you. It has been my truest joy that I've gotten to see you once again. But now I gotta go do my thing. So
going back in the exocortex.
It's good seeing you, old friend.
Good to see you too. And and I bebop on down the road into my friend's brain.
Yeah.
By friend, I mean myself.
Just fade away, and now you're all left with just Andis 148.
Boo! The Phantom Menace of Andises.
Should play with these characters more and just, like we said, pull out a new Andis every time. Brett has to do a new accent every single time. I'm Andis 137. I was an accountant.
I can't wait for Scottish Andis. Yeah, that'll be.
Right. Yeah. So you're here. You've got the ship under control. You've started to turn off the Civ automated fleet, bring down controls here and start hailing Absalom. You can tell just taking a look at the systems here, there are hundreds of decks to this ship. It is indeed built more like a floating city. Dozens of decks alone with just plant life and fauna that have been insulated and cared for millennia. And beyond that, you guys have readings of almost 1 million life forms that are in suspended rel state animation on board the vessel. Many of them humanoid and of all shapes and sizes. Some, a large contingent perhaps reading are those you can tell of Bantrids and Kretches and other dominated peoples of the Civ Dominion. But indeed, the vast majority of them, the overwhelming majority, are Civ. Looks like whole cities worth of Civ, ranging in, ages and sizes, and it looks like occupations are listed in the computer files here. But yeah, all of them have been in suspended rel state conditions since it seems the starship launched all those many, many, many years ago.
Is it likely that they have been living in some kind of like memory state, VR state, kind of like we were put into when we first got here?
Yeah, it's possible. I don't think that their minds have been there that entire time, but looking over this data, Cathlo comes up and says, we must free the rest of the captives, and if they have been indoctrinated, undo what the Civ have done. And there are also still custodians aboard the ship that perhaps want to put up a fight, even with Varanch gone. He used many to keep this vessel running, like those moon giants. They all must be brought down or eliminated.
We'll liberate all we can, but we have time for that now. We came here to prevent the destruction of a station that we don't even really know the status of yet.
Well, one thing
it's like some sort of devastation.
Devastation. Well, one thing we can do right now, though, is perhaps your AI friend can program the computer to eject all the remaining Civ from their slumber and put them out the airlock. Actually, wait, no. What would be the most painful way for them to die? How can we absolutely obliterate all these people in one short, quick burst?
Well, I understand, Cathlo, your anger here, but the few of us are in no position to pass judgment on the hundreds of thousands of Civ life forms aboard this ship. We do not know their circumstance. We cannot be the ones to decide their fate.
What do you mean? We've decided it. We have taken control of the ship. It is ours.
And all those Civ in there are harmless. They can't wake up, they can't move, they can't do anything or harm anyone. Their decision needs to be made by those more worthy of judging, and not those who have been harmed by Civ actions.
You all are the mightiest warriors of your people. Together we have the power before anyone else to make this decision. I remind you all, I I refuse the call of my dying world, the extinguished light of my people, to aid you. And you promised me we would destroy the Civ threat to this world. I didn't agree to all that to just turn the Civ loose on this galaxy once more and allow them to try this again in 10 years or 100 years from now. I know these people. They were born and bred to conquer others. And letting them live will mean more death and destruction. You trust me with that.
You only speak from a place of pain. You can have no true sight over what some of these individuals may choose or do. And that is why we cannot blanket pass one genocide that was committed against your people to another genocide on the Civ. As much as I share your dislike for their history and what they have done in the past, it is something we are not equipped to handle.
If you let them out, they will not stop until they have continued their bloodlust in this universe. I cannot believe you are turning your back on the promise you have made to me.
We promise to eliminate the Civ threat. If you can tell me that creatures sitting in hypersleep are a threat to you, then you are no true warrior.
They will no longer be a threat if we can pilot this death ship into the nearest sun, or better yet, a black hole. Make sure the job gets done and none of these things ever see the light of day. Please, one of you must agree with me.
Can I roll diplomacy?
Looks around for some. Is anyone backing her up? No? Yeah.
I mean...
yeah, you can roll diplomacy, Drew.
I don't...
Diplomacy to do what? To convince her to not be so...
stand down.
Okay.
A chill-lomacy roll. I forgot we were playing a game. I should probably roll into
That's a 60.
You just wanted to do a roll that he's good at.
Would you like my diplomacy roll, Patrick?
Yes, I'll just average them together.
Oh, perfect. Yes, if I could bring Drew 60 down.
Yeah, someone needs to.
I'm going to miss that roll.
It's actually possible for me to roll a negative number on that roll. So,
well, 60 is pretty good. I've set the DC at 45 here, so pretty good. What are you saying to Cathlo?
Cathlo, stand down. We've been through a lot. You haven't known us for very long, but I can tell you, the Civ aren't the only enemies out there. And today, we have done something together to bring peace to this galaxy. We've stopped the threat, but the rest of these Civ that are asleep in these pods, they have a choice. They have a choice to do what they did before, or they have a choice to live in this new world that we are going to create together. So do you want to be a part of the problem or part of the solution?
You all spared my life, gave me renewed purpose, and now you stand here before me and ask more than anyone has ever asked my people before, to make peace with what the Civ have done, to forgive them for the genocide of my people. I would think it is beyond what I can do with my two hearts. I think, though, that enacting vengeance upon their civilians, of which I am sure many of this suspended population, doing so would make the Aklath no better than their own butchers. You are correct, the cycle of violence can end, but maybe there is another way. Perhaps we can use their own tools against them, and those that are responsible can also answer for their crimes. Do you guys want to give me a culture or computers check?
Oh, I can give you a culture check.
Yeah.
And just for fun, since there's no other rolls a soldier's going to get to make. Oh, I rolled so well.
You said culture or computers?
Yeah, figure out if you can understand what she's talking about. If she can't, she's onto something.
She's going to mass brainwash all these.
I was going to say, what tools are we discussing here? Because it's either a weapon that kills the universe, that's one, or brainwashing them the opposite way. Is that really any better than brainwashing?
So again, this is something that maybe I personally wouldn't say, but as Knack with a 48 culture check would say, if it's like kind brainwashing, open-minded brainwashing
Well,
to
yeah,
teach them.
Oh,
You want to make them woke? Is that what
rate me
you're saying?
with rate me with this 54 computers check. Might want a little more information.
Well, I think Raimi knows you have the techno magic know-how you can re-record over the Civ simulation software, program it to show what you want to them, maybe reverse brainwash them away from their murderous tendencies, and put them to work kind of rebuilding the station that they destroyed. Another option is you can give them the exact same treatment that they gave their slaves, their conquered peoples. Just give them a complete mind wipe like the Bantrids, and they have a fresh start,
I just make them watch 6 days, 7 nights on repeat for eternity.
Oh, so we're going the torture route?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we should show them the history, both, but leaning a little more into Civ losses as well as Civ victories, but also show them on repeat the entire Drift Rider Crew movie franchise.
This is Ken Burns, Starfinder.
This is how we build our audience for the next trilogy.
I think this is a classic, like, we're between a rock and a hard place, right? Like, there's no real right answer. All of these solutions are problematic in one way or another. To me, it seems like the mind wipe option might be the most humane, because while it does wipe out, where they came from, which is cruel in its own right, it does give them a fresh slate to truly have that free will to make up their own mind without the burden of what they've been taught in the past. That said, I don't think that it's right for us to try to brainwash them. Like, I don't want to, like...
And,
sorry, what?
As I said, I agree. I feel like that option is the one that would give them the most agency and most, I don't know. Yeah, I agree.
Can we scan the database for the most anti-war, open-minded Civ that is currently in stasis right now?
No.
And make them the leader of the crew, their people?
Yeah. There's some that aren't for the the enslavement and murderment of every other species in the galaxy. They just want like 2 or 3 subjugated.
Where's the Bob Ross of Civ? Let's give that guy. Let's give that one a promotion. And
do you guys want to go with that option? Give a full mind wipe of the Rel State Civ and release them, alongside the other prisoners, like all at once?
No, that's a terrible idea.
I'm not in favor of this,
of the mind wipe option, but releasing the Civ right now would be bad.
Yeah.
I think we should just keep them in stasis until we can get the ship parked, get the other subjugated species offloaded, get the brainwashed species that are on all these other decks either subjugated or eliminated, and then at the very end of it all,
the Civ come off last.
Wake up the Civ.
Yeah, you wake up the Civ 100% last.
Because it's a huge project. Because it's got to.
Let me ask: do you want? Yeah, it's a huge human resources style conundrum. But do you want to give this as an option to Absalom Station authorities, or do you guys want to pull that trigger yourself?
Oh, we can do the. Can we do the mind wipe right now, but not wake them up?
Yeah.
Adros would not be fine with it, but I, as a player, am fine with that.
Well, Alintra, for what it's worth, will be. I'm already thinking we need to come up with a curriculum to educate these people who are going to come out of this mind wipe with no clue of what's going on, right? So I think this is going to take some time, some planning. I think it's going to be a big endeavor that is going to have to require the Starfinder Society, at least, and their influence. So yeah, I think that is a good plan. Let's leave the waking them up.
Fast forward a year, and you're making all the Civs do like the fast food work. They're just like serving black milkshakes and Elikoth burgers on Eox. Like, oh, do you want to undead size that for another $2?
Look, gang,
The training program.
I don't know about this mind wipe. I know the Civ. I know the Civ have caused countless deaths, but I can't have the effective murder of an entire remains of a civilization on my hands.
It is a civilization of death and destruction that we would be erasing, and give them the option if they would like to choose a new path for themselves.
But they'd be choosing a new path without knowing their history. It'd be better if they could choose a path knowing what they were before. And if we mind wipe them, they're not going to have that knowledge. They're not going to have that history. They have to prove that they can be better without being mind wiped, because they're going to be effective mindless people.
I'm with Mac here.
We could teach them about what their people did, but if they are allowed to keep their memories intact, I'm worried that they will find ways to weasel out of responsibilities, get back, take over other places.
And what if we do that and they find out that we did it, and they understand that we took that away from them? What's their reaction going to be then?
Not only that,
we robbed them of that choice.
I mean, it can't be any worse than them.
If we rob them of the choice to become who they are,
I think
we are no better than the people that we fight.
I think you are downplaying the seriousness of if the Civ decide that they do not want to change their ways.
Hey,
I am not saying that I am in favor of a mind wipe, but you are advocating for the potential of a massive war and conflict with a civilization that shouldn't have been around in the first place. That is a difficult thing to swallow.
And, well, look, they have technology on this ship that we barely understand. And you've got people in there, just from a pragmatic Absalom standpoint, there are people on this ship that are in stasis that understand the technology on this ship better than we ever will. You're just going to wipe that information out too.
Yes, it is a weapon of destruction. Why are you talking about all the goods the Civ have done? They've done nothing but destroy this universe. Every place they've touched, they would have destroyed you too. I vote we get rid of their minds.
Cathlo,
if we're not killing them outright.
I'm going to put it in perspective for you. Up until a few weeks ago, none of us even knew who the Civ were, outside of all the stuff with the Kish.
Yeah, you knew what to talk about the Civ. Comparatively,
you speak Civ, son.
I learned Civ for this, so it's not for the greater part of the galaxy. They've never seen a Civ. The Civ have been ancient history for a long, long time. It's real to you.
You know a great deal of them and what they've done, but you do not know at all about. You don't know of the Bantrids. You do not know of the Kretches. You do not know of the Aklath, because they were snuffed out and their cultures erased.
I know like 40 Bantrids. They're all over the place.
The Bantrids are still alive.
I like a bunch of them, yeah. They're a big part of Absalom society.
I don't know about their culture.
Yeah, no, they were also mind wiped completely by Civ technology.
But we know some of them now.
If we do the same thing that the Civ did, what makes us better than them?
We're not.
All we are.
We're not killing and enslaving people.
Aren't we?
We're better.
Aren't we? If we mind wipe and mind control people,
I mean, I would like to. I'm
Hold on.
About that.
We're not talking about mind wiping and mind controlling. That's what the Civ did. Yes.
Well, I'm down for that too.
What we're talking about is mind
wiping and re-educating.
Put it down.
I'm down for whatever you guys want to do, except letting the murderers go.
I mean, what we're proposing is a mind wipe. Yes. I recognize not very humane, but given the situation, more humane than unleashing an entire civilization that at this point in time should not exist and is definitely, intends to destroy our entire universe.
I mean, if you let them out without mind wiping them, they will almost all need to be put in jail.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands.
By mind wiping them, we are freeing them of the control that was inflicted upon them in the past.
I agree.
You're
agree
not
with
killing their
Alindra.
bodies, but you're killing their spirits. And I'm not saying that their spirits deserve to live. But what I am saying is that this is a big decision that I do not feel comfortable making. And maybe it's best just to leave them in stasis and let larger bodies like the Absalom Council, like the Starfinders Society.
I am a larger body.
I'm very large.
I am extremely large next.
If you lack the will to do it, little man, I'm down.
I'm with Kathy on the immediacy of the situation. I do not think that we should allow political influences who are more concerned with their own politics and bureaucracy to make this decision. I fear their judgment will not be clear.
I don't think our judgment's clear.
By wiping their minds, we are not erasing their culture. We are simply resetting thousands of years of brainwashing that their own people inflicted on them. The idea drilled into them since they were born that they were superior. I do not think that is a negative. I think that is cleansing them of an evil that has been burned into their very souls since they were born. That is a release.
And what if they did that to your people, Ladros? Your people who were at war with the Pact Worlds not that long ago. What if they found out the entire remaining Vesk race? What would that mean for you?
If you can prove that my people used technology to brainwash us to be a warmongering clan for Demoratosh, then perhaps you would have an argument. But every Vesk soldier chose their role.
Yeah, hypothetics are going to work on it.
Do not confuse a culture built on honor and wardom with a culture built on racial superiority. Those are two very different messages, Knack.
Sounds like we're a bit divided. We've got Knack and Raimi in the Nay camp and Alindra and Adros in the EA camp. What's a Endus 148, the little baby boy, thinking? Jabert?
Boy, a rough time for the Civ for Andis to turn into a calculating robot. To become a full construct.
Beep boop. I've calculated.
I've calculated the correct answer. Beep boop.
I have run trillions of simulations.
Can you plug that Andis 147 construct into the systems of the Civ to teach them over the next 100 years not to be
they're all going to come out pirates,
not to be D-bags.
Well, let's see. I mean, obviously, well, not obviously. I think I know a thing or two about not having access to your heritage, your people, the place that you are from. I can say this, my life is better having you all in it than it would be not being. The Civ cannot be allowed to go unpunished, and yet, what can we do? And I indicate, I go beep, boop, 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 and I open up a view screen to the devastation that is Absalom Station, and I say,
oh yeah, you guys, 75% of the fleet is destroyed or disabled at this point.
Yeah, I say, we have paid for our vengeance already, and enough blood has been spilled here, but we cannot allow these creatures access to their technology again. I believe they should have an opportunity to do what they can. We can teach them about who their people were. We can try to help them understand, but the years and decades of programming that they've already been subjected to, I don't think there is a way to allow them to leave this place.
Beep, boop.
Boop, boop. So saw we ball.
Oh, yeah.
Saw we ball.
Yeah, what would the Bantrid say if they were here?
Yeah, what would Bantrid be? What would Bantrid Jesus do?
They would be complaining about the lack of Bantrid access that this facility does not provide.
This is far too many stairs.
It's about that time you guys get a communique from Absalom Station. The screen's light up here with a room full of smiling faces from Prime Executive Kumara, Mel Cruz, the priestess of Elortu Cambrisa June. You see even Mrs. Asafina Knott here, along with a dozen or so stewards, some in bandages, other slings, and 5 surly-looking Skittermander teenagers doing a 3 Space Stooges routine in the background, just like hitting each other with 6 arms.
5 Stooges.
3. Well, it's 3 Stooges, but with the 5 of them, so 60. No, how many? 30 arm Stooges.
How many pies could they throw? That's what I want to know.
What's this?
Mini pies.
Yeah, Primex Melcruz says, we just got word that all the drones in the system stopped their assault at once and are returning to the Civ vessel. Driftrider crew, were you able to stop the Civ? We had given up hope that you all went dark there. We've lost much of Absalom Station and many ships in the interim, but we were able to hold them off with the help of the Starstone reactor being back online. And it seems like drift travel is now possible with whatever Devastation Ark was doing to the beacon here, but we are still very much in crisis mode. We are getting word that reinforcements from the Vescarium that were stuck in the drift will be coming through shortly, but we need all vessels available to help with the civilian rescue of the fleet. If you all are alive, come back home. We have medical personnel ready to treat you all.
Good, because we're coming back home with about 1 million passengers in need of assistance as well.
Is there anything we can use the Devastation Ark to support the fleet with what access we have to it?
Yeah, we have a big gun.
You can shoot anybody that tries to stop you from this rescue operation. Just blast them to smithereens.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drone ships really aren't like transport worthy, at least not search and rescue. They're also mainly just flying guns for the most part. Yeah, so you guys want to head on out of here?
Yeah, it's one heck of a piloting check to move this thing, I'm sure.
I mean, you could just leave it where it is. It's not going anywhere for the time being. And you can take Kim with you. He's like, yeah, I'll help out. I can relay any commands you have to the core here, as long as you keep me within range. Whatever you'd like to do, I can make it happen. You want me to brainwash all these Civ? Boy, howdy, that's gonna happen real quick, Mr. Edros.
I don't want you to brainwash them, but
I'll do it. I'll do it if you ask.
What I would like you to do is play Who Let the Dogs Out constantly, just on a loop in their brains.
Once again, the torture option. We're
for the next 100 years. Oh, that's my favorite song. I didn't realize that was a bad thing. I'm so sorry.
A Civ comes out of that storage like, the party was bumping.
The party was bumping.
One of them comes out and looks at the other one and says, do you ever get the feeling that maybe it wasn't about dogs? I feel like it might be about something more.
As you guys leave the Rel State AI core here, right outside the door is a couple of big old moon giants waiting for you. You see
Moonshine.
Kesmir, along with Arog and Jervir and Thordir, waiting for you, and they've drawn what looks like an arcane circle within the computer monitoring room. And Kesmir says, hello, friends. Your AI friend Kim bid us come for you, and we've able to continue our teleportation magics, and we can get you past this ship's defenses now and take you back to your station as was part of our deal. Where all would you like to teleport to?
There's a bar on the 15th level
where everyone knows your name.
Oh, that
or at least knows our names.
The first thing you're going to do is get soused. Okay.
100%. Yes. This has been a long and stressful trip.
Maybe we can make 2 trips, perhaps maybe to some kind of medical facility for some of
No, we're going to the bar.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I'm at full HP, baby. Ready to party.
I got a few stamina points left to burn. Let's do this.
Right, exactly. I'm gonna boot and
you want another combat? Okay.
I feel like the first thing we should do post campaign is get in a bar fight.
Yeah, 100%.
No bar fight.
Level 20 bar fight.
I mean for the hangover the next day.
I'm ready for a boogie, and it better be a boot scooting.
Yeah, have them also teleport some like powered down, Civ drones and whatnot, and we can
Patrick, can we go back to that original bar that we started at, where all those like racists were yelling at me for being an android and taking their jobs, and I'll be like, "What's up now? My job?
Let's go.
You don't
level one races. That sounds fun.
You don't fit in that bar anymore, but one of your robot legs crushes it.
The Absalom first movement. Yeah, that is a great example of, maxing out on stats, finishing the campaign, and then going back and killing some level 1 boars.
We're gonna new game plus this.
these half CR NPCs attacking you. They're like,
Dross grabs one of the Skittermanders. Dross grabs the Skitterman and goes, "Your name is now Duravor Creel. I need you to walk across this bay, and don't worry about a thing."
So you guys get to drinking, get to resting up, and perhaps we'll jump forward hours later as you are back in a suite, the Abadar Core Hotel suite provided to you. Maybe some SRO medical technicians tending to wounds, other people, bringing in food and stuff, and keeping you well lubricated.
Hydrated. Partying.
Have you guys ever had black milk? I mean, it sounds disgusting, but it's really good.
Yeah, it is.
And a very tired looking cattywampus comes strolling through the front door. He's got a comical sized bruise down his forehead, and as soon as he comes in, a robot doctor immediately covers it with a big cartoonish bandage in the shape of an X.
A big steak.
Like, I tell you what, this saving the universe shtick of yours is getting kind of old. You guys feel like one-trick ponies at this point. What post-apocalyptic super weapon starship are you going to stop next time? An Aslanti one? Are you going to go for another Corpse Fleet attack? Corpse Fleet round 2, Electric Boogaloo?
We could take on the Aslanti with this.
Yeah, listen, Kitty Whopper. We could take on anything. So you just don't worry about us.
Are you all drunk right now?
Cattywampus, what's going on with your head?
Look.
Why are you drunk, Andis?
There's 2 of you.
You're 4 years old. How dare you?
I'm seeing double.
You can't talk to Andis like that. My second best friend.
Well, this is gonna make this a lot easier. Here are the keys back to the Drift Rider, good sir. He'll throw them over to you, Knack. Sadly, the entire ship was destroyed, but I was able to save some personal effects and throw them in the life pod before I ejected. He holds up a rusty tail blade for you, Knack. He's like, here you go.
I'll treasure this forever.
Yeah, we came under some pretty heavy drone fire yesterday, right before the skirmishing stopped them from getting past Absalom shields. But yeah, Drift Rider is gone, like pretty much atomized.
I think we had insurance, but maybe
we can rebuild it.
It was an old hunk of junk. It's like 100 years old. You could probably, look at you. You can afford a new starship. Anyway, I kind of feel like I did you a favor, and maybe I should get some kind of demolition fee or hazard pay. Injury, egregious injury compensation. And points to his forehead.
No. I agree. I speak for both Knack and I that you can work it off and rebuild the ship exactly how it was.
He points to his boo-boo.
he grabs a bottle of the Oxyan champagne and sabers off the neck real quick with a rusty looking knife and pours only 6 glasses. And you don't get one.
Nah.
Or 5 glasses. You don't get one. I guess old Collywobble was right about you 5, He had a vision way back when, you dingbat saving Absalom someday, and well, here we are. Look at you. That old coot got himself killed by an Akata just trying to help you along that path, but guess all our hard work was worth it. I'd like to propose a toast, maybe a drink in his honor. What do you say? Care to raise a glass with me?
Sure.
Of course.
It is in poor manners to refuse a drink to salute the dead.
Here, Andis, you're too young. Here's some water. It starts to sober you up. Maybe we'll get you an appy juice later.
All right, I'll
want
take
a appy
this.
juice?
I'll take
Please.
this.
Yeah. No.
Please,
He's too young, and then like Raimi like pours like his drink into his.
We'll get you some appy juice if you promise to put away your 10-ton mecha spider power armor.
Dad.
I told you, I don't want to see that outside.
Dad, I'm a real construct now. You can't talk like that in front of my friends.
I can own you now. You're not a human anymore. You're not a bee.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Not cool, cattywampus. We just had a real serious conversation about that.
Indeed, we have a funeral for a friend, but also for a ship. As indeed the Drift Rider was
Friendship.
The Drift Rider was one of the many ships destroyed in the Battle of the Devastation Ark. And we're going to fast forward a couple weeks later as we look at Absalom from afar, mostly destroyed, massively weakened. The station surrounded by a huge number of fleets from all over the universe. You see Veskarium vessels, rebuilt Suskalan Defense Force fleets, the Adari fleets have come, the Eoxian undead fleets, and each and every one of them seems to be running their lights in a vibrant cascade of purple and green. For today, they've marked on the Pact calendar as a celebratory jubilee. All throughout Absalom Station, there are streamers and signs and banners and marquees reading that today is Voda Day, victory over Devastation Ark. Voda, kind of like
the phones.
Yoda.
Yeah,
but with a V, a Voda.
Or a coda to this episode.
Or a Vader, but Vodas. it sounded very Star Wars. Yoda, Vader, Voda. It's what if they had a baby.
Like Darth Yoda. Be Voda.
Voda. The Pact Directorate has designated indeed that you will shutting down the AA core of the Ark as the Pact World's holiday, and are getting around to celebrating it this year a little bit late, but the top movers and shakers throughout the galaxy have kind of thrown you a neon ticker tape parade that slowly has moving hover cars throughout the rings of Absalom, and you've returned to the council chambers, very building where the Pact Accords was signed 280 years ago. And yeah, there's a private swanky party that was held in your honor. A few hundred people.
We weren't invited.
No, you guys were there amongst Veskarian military commanders, hobnobbing with wealthy Absalom tycoons and Yokshan ship captains, talking to steward leaders. And they made you dress up in Starfinder Society regalia and put some new shiny medals around your neck. Maybe a couple more commendations there, and a holographic key to Absalom that you can all keep in like a pocket. A monumental occasion. The entirety of the Pact World seems to have come out and are putting speeches on the infosphere honoring you all and bestowing badges of courage and other honorific awards. From the Kathathans to the Triaxians. The Bantrids have an award that conspicuously looks like a large nose on a chain. Large metallic nose on a chain that they want to put around your neck. And yeah, by the time you guys are done, you get to unload all these onto a large table in the back of the room, where you see Cattywampus kind of posing for pictures with fans and signing copies of Trivid cases of the soon-to-be quadrilogy, perhaps, of Drift Rider action films.
It's a quintology, thank you.
Is it going to be, or is it already?
Oh, there were 4 films already. We have 3 more planned.
Yeah,
it's about family.
You guys have been able to relax, but you've also been on missions the last few weeks, getting people off of Devastation Ark. It has been a logistical nightmare of counting the dead and rescue operations of the nearly destroyed fleet, and repairs to sections of Absalom that are going to take years. But yeah, now that you have time to relax during the celebration, is there anything you want to say to one another, or anybody you want to spend it with? Anyone you want to bring back up from multiple seasons of NPCs or what have you?
I'm trying to think of the deepest, most worthless cut anyone could make.
Yeah, who's that nerd Who's that nerd that Rebecca's character went to school with? In
No. That was Zinnia.
Degree.
That was Zinnia, right?
Yeah. But that guy's here too.
Yeah, he probably is.
The one that was on the
You look really
dead
familiar. Do I
swarm.
know you?
Yeah, that was the one.
Who's that dude in the back that looks like that that Atlanta we saw on the
Yeah, get him out of here.
If no one has anything in particular, I'll go around the room because
I have a question.
Yes.
Did Master Passalar pass away?
Oh
I
yeah,
remember.
yes, he's dead.
He's dead.
And as Rebecca, as you're walking around, maybe getting handshakes and pats on the back, you do see a familiar face in the crowd, as indeed the non-Jarian professor and master mentor Passalar is in a hovering chair propped up with some medical equipment. He's alive. I lied to you.
What?
And he's here now. He's like, hello, young pupil. I take it that you've once more braved the wilds of these worlds and taken on another enemy of independent thought and progress. Hello. How are you doing?
Very confused. Master Passalar, I'm shocked to see you here.
Oh, that's what everyone's saying. Yeah, I died, but I got better. And now I'm just negotiating to get turned into an Eoxian before my third and hopefully final death. I don't think I have many more of these in me.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah,
I wish you well in your new life as an Eoxian.
So he's chatting you up, Raimi, as you're wandering the party. You know, there's a group of officials that come over and maybe ask questions about your missing time on the ship, as the official story has not gone out yet of your simulation and then takeover of the Devastation Ark. But yeah, as you're trying to sneak away, you see your lady and business partner, Leanna, walking up to you with some dry iced drinks in her hands. One for each of you.
Right.
You can duck them all you want, but the truth is, if you thought you were important before this, then literally saving the entire pack world is going to make it so it's very hard for you to walk down the street ever again.
Well, I think Knack and I are coming up with some ideas to keep us busy enough that we won't be amongst people in a situation where we have to be mobbed all the time. We are actively trying to find ways for us to be too busy to be bothered.
maybe expansion. I don't know. Maybe going out into the world.
Yeah, expansion sounds good.
If you take the drink she has from you, this is an Eoxian delicacy, a black milk concoction, but it is not alcoholic. It is meant to stimulate and not deaden the senses. She says, well,
Give it back to her.
That still means no more late night walks to the bodega for snacks or window shopping in the Verses Veranda Plaza. Now, if you're going to want to go clothes shopping, you're just going to have to buy the mall itself for some privacy, Mr. Quindar.
What? Why are you calling Mr. Quindar?
We're in a formal setting.
Yeah, but we're not that formal.
Miles, she's flirting with you. Good God.
Mr. Quindar.
Miles has never seen a romantic comedy or anything. Never
Not a bad
thought
one.
this before. Yeah, she'll continue on. She'll bluster pass, and maybe Cattywampus will take the other drink. Did you have a nice vacation, Raimi? You sold this as a skiing trip with your old Starfinder buddies, but it seems to have tumbled into another galactic crisis.
Yeah, I mean, one thing led to another. I can't control these things. You know that. I can't say no to these guys. Like it gestures to like everyone.
Cattywampus is behind her, just picking his nose. Yeah, right. Well, I will have you know that this counts as paid time off, and the company is going to have to, take that and any more vacation time you take after this out of your paychecks. So Looks
do
like-
I own the company?
It looks like you're going back to work. I mean, yeah, you're an employee. You're paid by.
I can't remember. I actually can't remember my backstory if I like eschewed like ownership or not.
I think you have like a non-controlling stake, but yeah, you're still an employee, sir. You're not above the law, Miles.
I mean, he wasn't a government employee to begin with.
No, it's not government. It's a
What are we talking about the law?
Well, the law states that if you use up all your vacation time, it comes out of your paycheck. And she'll continue on and say,
The law states if I'm the CEO of the company, I can do whatever I want.
Dang, I didn't realize that was what the law said.
I don't think that's what the law says.
Anyway, yeah, no, Miles has no idea what's going on here.
I know I don't, because I'm like, what does the law have to do with a company and vacation time?
Leanna says, I would like to file a joint separation. That's part of the law, right? You're being way too obtuse.
They're not married, so that's fine.
Oh boy. Anyway, no more vacations from you anytime soon. We're gonna need the money because our latest merger has left us with a new employee coming on board.
Who's that?
She shows you a data pad, and it has a 3D hologram, a sonogram of a fetus, a human fetus on it.
I don't remember hiring that.
My goodness gracious. But Mr. Quindar, it looks like you have another adventure left in you, and sadly I think that this might mean the end of your gallivanting on the far edges of the universe days. It might be through, and we're gonna have to get through a union ceremony before this birth first. Yeah. Childbirth, Siege Bird, I told you.
Okay, so a couple notes. I can't imagine that Quindar Industries is going to be super into starting a union because of this baby. And then also, what does the law have to say about babies working for a company?
Well, no, I mean,
I'll be here all week, everybody. I think you tip your waitresses.
No, I think Raimi would be, pretty elated, but at the same time,
kind of elated.
He's also looking to Knack. It's like, this is fantastic. This is the best news. I don't know if I will be 100%, away from my duties. And it's like trying to he keeps throwing glances at Knack to come help him.
Bro, I need you. But business bro, tell her I can't be married because I have adventure.
Hey,
it's not that. It's just he can't
Knack.
entirely retire.
Knack Feldspar. Knack, which is, by the way, a great name. Knack is just, I'm with you, buddy. Maybe a middle name?
She slides over what looks like on the data pad a prenup atop a small crystalline box. With what looks like a Noqual armband, a symbol of her love for you in it, and says, I love you, and if the corpse fleet couldn't keep us apart, I don't know of anything in this universe, if we put our minds to it, that can do so, that can stop us from sticking together until the end. We are going to have this baby here, though, on Absalom. The board just approved another joint venture with your friend, Feldspar Co. So we are deepening the connections between our two companies, and it's perhaps something we'll have to do to continue to erase the stink of the Yoxian Deadite colony fiasco. It's a new venture out into the vast, so she'll kind of duck down so Knack can't hear and say, you have to keep a close eye on the Feldspars, your friend included, here on Absalom. And she'll gesture over at Knack across the table, maybe. We see Knack over there sitting with another Hisoki at the moment.
You've seen my ears, right? You know how well I can hear. Uncle Knack's going to make this all work out.
That's not how yes ending works.
Raimi was I know, I love you too, but and looks over to Knack, he's like, that's my best friend.
Yeah.
He's my best friend.
Well, he's not the company itself. But let's go find your parents. You've got to tell them the good news in person, and they can explain things a little better. She'll hustle you away from the Starfinder reunion table here, and we'll move over to Knack, who Indeed, there's a throng of Starfinders hounding you for autographs as they leave happy. Perhaps you've signed like their hats or their uniforms. A single figure remains behind them, a sheepish-looking form, an Ahsoki woman, your sister, Kels Feldspar, who seems to be nervously cheek pouching something from cheek to cheek, kind of rolling it over. And she says, well, it looks like you've done it again. Again and again, Knack. Saved the universe. Gotten more publicity, more goodwill for Clan Feldspar. More than we could ever have even hoped for.
You know, it's kind of my modus operandi.
And you, just like those Trivids say, you're the main cause. You're the glue that hold that team together, right?
I don't know about that, but you know, sometimes found family is just as important as real family. How you doing, sis?
Drac, our father, says that once Absalom rebounds, maybe a year or two from now, he thinks our stock price is going to double, and then perhaps double again. So the family is in rapture over your escapades once more. She takes a seat next to you and looks fairly contrite and continues and says, and listen, Father wants you to take over more day-to-day business and is blaming me for lateral investments like the ski resorts on Jeddarat and things like that. The HQ here in Absalom is taking over another floor and is getting ready for a new company in conjunction with Quindar Inc. She raises a glass and toast to Raimi and Leanna, looking over very happy. I'm sick of it, though, Knack, ever since you weaseled your way into Drac's good graces once more. You've had nothing but puff pieces written about you all over for saving the world. Makes me look like a horrid, wicked stepsister by comparison. If you just send one or two little goons to beat up your brother, and all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy here, and you're the one that stole from the clan to begin with. No one seems to remember that.
Here we are.
Well, anyway, I need a favor from you. I have to start doctoring up my image if I plan to take over a larger stake in the company in the future. I need to start that right now. You've saved the world twice against the Civ, and I need that kind of press for myself. So perhaps to have an increased stake in our clan's next venture, I can not just sit on the sidelines anymore. I gotta get out there and get my claws dirty, you know?
I understand that. I might have a couple of projects you can work on, but you're gonna have to give me a few weeks to figure this out. Might have some rehabilitation of a large number of people to deal with that you might be perfectly suited for.
Well, that's not what I was talking about. The moon giants that were on that ark had star charts, and there's an unknown system out in the vasts, and they say it's completely untouched. Absalom, the fleet, the Pact Worlds, they're going to need resources for all these refugees to help rebuild and perhaps some place to resettle. So the council's getting ready to start doling out bids for settlements. And you and Raimi running things here on Absalom as charter designations for this joint company. I want to be the admin on the ground for this enterprise. If there's any evil alien overlords out there trying to take over, I want to be the ones that defeat them, or at least tell people I did. You know, tell them to kiss my cheek pouches and pronk off.
Spoken like a true Feldspar.
And I want a really, really attractive Ahsoki to play me in the next Trivid movie. The one that you got has got a really nasty overbite. I don't like it.
We'll recast, but only if this little venture is successful.
Anyway, it's time that you have the nice cushy office job and let me dig into the hard work so I can reap those PR benefits. What do you say, brother?
I'll think about it. Okay.
That was fast. No cliffhanger there. Going back to you, Alindra, Master Pasilar is done taking some large draughts from an oxygen mask that like automatically descends and ascends off of his mouth every once in a while. It's like, oh, that's some good O2. Thank you. What were we saying? What were we talking about? Oh, yes, I'm alive.
Hello.
Enough about you. Let's talk more about how my heart is still working and what a miracle that is of science.
Look, it just beat.
I know you defeated like a whole thing, but that means nothing compared to what my ticker's having to go through.
Oh, it just goes again. It just beat again twice in 1
I ate
minute.
a 72-ounce steak. I can feel the blood moving in my skin.
A new record.
Also, I love you.
Anyway. Whoa. Anyway, Alindra, our friends over at the Starfinders called me in yesterday to look at the star charts that your Crescent Diviners brought back with you from their excursions. Your instincts about that system, well, they were good. The system that they were last exploring seemed to be of some interest to the society and our colleagues at Cabaret University. While the Crescent Diviners were focusing on lunar bodies, that planet that they spotted is of interest. Absalom wants it charted and settled as soon as possible, and they've tasked me with putting together the elements of an astral archaeological team. You see, Alindra, after looking over the data, it seems like this planet might be of similar dimensions and perhaps has characteristics of the exoplanets of the Kish. My life's work. And
that's wonderful news. I'm honored to know that I might have had some hand in rediscovering a lost civilization, or at least the remnants of one.
Well, perhaps your understanding of this is even greater than my own. You've been on these planets and have felt them beneath your feet. After reading over your research over the last few years, I feel like you and I might have come to the same conclusion. The Kish did not make those planets. They merely inherited them. They created technology that allowed them to terraform and move them, but whoever designed these worlds, perhaps it harkens back to the oldest civilizations in the entire universe. Older than anything we've ever seen represented in the archives. He kind of drifts away, thinking about that and like, oh, yes. Has a little bit of a senior moment. He's like, oh. And he looks around and
the archives of Nethys, right?
Yeah, the archives, the digital archives of Nethys. He snaps back to it as he looks around and realizes where he's at. So it's like, oh, excuse me, my girl. I didn't mean to intrude on your celebrations here, but I did want to ask you if you would be interested in leading a small team out into the vast here when you're done on Absalom. This could be the find of the century, and, well, I'm excited for the chance to co-author a scientific paper with you. Perhaps the last one I'll ever write in this body. We can, whatever your findings are, put them together and perhaps make your name as the primary and me behind you for once. Oh, what do you say? What are the next few months of your life looking like?
Master Pasilar, I can sincerely say that is the most exciting thing that I can think of doing after this adventure. I would love to teach a new set of astronomers how to explore exoplanets, explore the vastness of space, but also to continue your legacy and all that you have taught to me. Nothing would delight me more.
Can you imagine if he showed up here and asked you to be second author or like middle author on a paper? It'd be like, all right, so he's the final boss. Let's get him.
You don't know how powerful I've become.
Yeah, what level are you, Master Pasilar? Are you above level 20 somehow?
I'm 97 levels old. Oh, anyway. That sounds good. I'll draw up the paperwork. We'll get you ready to go, my girl. Thank you for making this old heart young again. Thank you. As you perhaps, I don't know, put a hand on his metallic gurney that he's on, his like living, moving iron lung, and ponder what you've agreed to here. You see some gruff-looking captains around Edros across the room. This large Vesk seems to burst into laughter. Edros, Tyler, once more, you've got Yoxian corsairs around you, Diasporan captains, Akatonian bootleggers of all kinds, swapping stories with you, filling up your mug and razzing you for maybe going corporate over the last few years with your Starfinder duds on and your religious paraphernalia. One of them jokes and says, "Oh, what's next, Edros? You're going to settle down somewhere and have a brood of younglings? Time to move to Vesk 4 and open up a black milk coffee shop." Is that the retirement plan?
You better hope that is not what I choose to do. Could you imagine a brood trained by me from birth in the ways of to be honest, my ways? I would have a great battalion that none could stop, so you best hope I stay active at my age.
And stay active he will if he's got a whole fleet at his beck and call. A voice behind you pipes up. It is Rakalwi, your aide-de-camp, partner in crime. She who you saved from death in the jungles of Castravel. She gives you a kind of sloppy salute and says, Captain, I'm happy to say your ship, the Dauntless, has made it through the battle. It's done with its repairs, and I've started to put together a crew of trainees from the temple on the Burning Archipelago, as well as some of our old friends here who are interested in getting back out on a starship. Those who didn't die or bite the big one defending Absalom from the Civ are ready and willing to go. She's fueled up, and there are contracts out for months, hauling materials from outside the shipyards and helping with repairs. Lots of jobs we can take and make a quick buck in this economy too, maybe some side jobs. But now that you're done with your Starfinders, perhaps we can get back out there and raise space anchor, so to speak.
You are right. I have been either in a Civ ship or a simulation of Civ society for a very long time. It will be good to see the stars stretch out before me again. See what was out there, and while I feel like I am not as useful here. We are surrounded by every resource known to man, and those who are here will be well taken care of. But there are still people and settlements in the vast that need help, and that is where we will go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You've gotten probably several offers from other expeditions and teams from Starfinders the last few days who've wanted perhaps to use your experience, maybe others just for visibility's sake, have you leading a team for them doing something similar. But yeah, here at the end of the journey, Edros, level 20 mechanically, do you see things changing greatly for our Vesk soldier friend?
No, I mean, not for many, many, many years. Nothing that Edros has planned out. He wishes to do, maybe perhaps hearing about settlements or an expedition out in the vast. He might put a pin in, he might, earmark that for when the first reports come back to see if there is help needed out there. But he is eager to get back to what he was doing beforehand, which was finding those who need help and bringing Sarenrae's light where it has not shined in many years.
Yeah.
And doing it alongside Rakawi and a new crew would be a grand retirement for him. I mean, he was already supposed to be retired. This is what he was planning on kind of doing for most of the rest of his time. So
yeah, you had a couple weeks there on Akaton while you're looking for Andis 148 that you're able to think and put things in perspective there. But you think you still have a debt to Sarenrae that needs to be paid?
No, I mean, I think as Edros would phrase it, is he says, my lady of the sun has given me many gifts, but they are not for me. They are for those who need it most. And my time in this system is best spent finding those who do need them, seek them out, and bring the light to them. But he does have one thing he needs to do. Which he needs to find Chiscus.
Oh, yeah? You owe him like $5 or something? 5 creds?
I'm going to pay him more than 5 credits. I think Edros would...
I think he's here.
Yeah. I mean, it might be afterwards or if he's here, that would be fine. But Adros would say,
You know, just because I've been thinking of things as late, when you become an older scale such as myself, you look back on how your legacy began, and Brolin, for many intensive purposes, mine began in your office. You officially enlisting us in the Starfinders and helping us move forward and take those first few steps that, we did not realize were going to lead to the salvation of billions of life forms. You trusted us, and I must say, I have lifelong friends and success, and it is in no small part thanks to yourself and to the late Durivor Creel.
And Adros will take the Spear of Fates off of his back, and he will set it before he'll set it on. He'll hand it out, and he will say,
I want the Starfinder Society to have this. They may keep it and display it or memorialize it or vault it, but
I don't want it anymore.
but
Get it away from me, please.
This is a spear that is meant to be wielded by a champion, and my time as that champion is over, and I hope it'll come to be used by whoever needs it next. But for now, as a thank you, I wish to give it to you.
We accept this, the Starfinders. Thank you for your service and for your gift.
He'll take it from you, and immediately it like malfunctions and like breaks apart. It's like,
Oh goodness, it's very touchy, isn't it?
Yes, it is,
oh gosh.
It is needed to be wielded specifically, I think.
We need a mechanic over here. Mechanic.
So many mechanics. You should find the best you can find.
To be continued.
On airplane mode. Tyler, as you're chatting up Ralkawi here, you see a group of robed figures walking over to Andis 148. Jabert, Andis was expecting a call from the Founding 19 after hostilities ended, but them showing up here, this group led by Clara 147 and two other Andises. As you see them, they look maybe slightly sick, if that's even possible. Their color seems off. There's perhaps lubricant exuding out of their pores. Clara says, Andis, we're happy you made it off of that Civ death ship alive. What happened while you were there? What is going on with your body?
I don't have like a voice modulator, but if I did, what I would change is I would make it sound a little more. The voice is a bit distorted.
Yeah, I can add some reverb to you. Go.
Yeah. Clara, it is good to see you again. I'm not sure. I don't think this body has many more cycles left in it. I believe this is some sort of a defense mechanism against that. I can show you. And I sort of like pull my hand out of my armor.
Oh, I thought you were talking about pooping out Andises.
No.
Like, here's Andis 32.
No. I
was a cobbler back in my day.
I can make you a fancy shoe. Yeah, and indeed, I sort of pull my arm out and I activate not my adaptive strike, but something similar to it, and I just sort of like
make an attack roll. your arm comes out, your weapon.
And I open up my arm, and it reveals that there are indeed no organic parts left in it. It's nanites and mechanical bits all the way down. I say, I think that my nanites have almost replaced all of my organic parts at this point. I don't know how many more souls will be able to inhabit this. So whatever you have planned, I suggest that you do it soon. I mean, by that I mean probably within like the next like couple 100 years or something. But so no pressure. But like if it's like a big like multi-century long project, then we're gonna want to get moving on that.
And 7 here says, whatever is happening to you, it seems the other Andises are undergoing something similar, an effect on the Andises on Alluvian. They believe it to be a revelation of the final stage of our metamorphosis. Perhaps it is what was brought on by gathering all of our kind together in one place.
Was it a mistake?
Perhaps this was part of the plan, but There must have been something deep in our code, perhaps present in our cortexes, that initiated once we returned to one another. Claire says, regardless of that, we believe the prophecy of the 19 is going to be fulfilled much sooner than 100 years. 148. There's but
say that.
We are only missing a single member of our order of the and that source tells us that it is out in the vast, and we've contracted the Starfinders in helping us track down this last original model of android, but it is said by a scrying that they remain in a creche created long ago to help create these forms. So we're searching for perhaps where the android were invented, or perhaps at least where the last remaining android resides. We believe this might happen within the next year or two.
It's strange that it's happening so fast.
I know. You've been an asset to the Starfinders and Absalom Station, but is it okay if you return with us to Illuvian for a time so we may study your transition into automaton further? We can have you link up with the AI consciousness there, and perhaps they can probe and discover what is happening and why it's happening, these evolutionary stages to the rest of the Andi.
Yes, I haven't spoken with Kendori in some time. Let's go.
Claire will put a hand on your shoulder and say, did you have a good time with the Drift Rider crew, 148? Did that powered armor you traded up for, did it keep you nice and safe?
Yes, it was very nice.
Well, you're not going to need that again anytime soon, but
we promises.
We can keep it in storage for you, ready to go. You never know when the universe is going to need another Andis to spring into action.
That's right.
At the end of this party, you guys watch perhaps as automatic robotic cleaners suck up streamers and detritus from the floor here. Cattywampus left after a little while as people start to trickle out, and comes back with some Acatonian egg salad sandwiches, some black milk pop, and passes them out to you guys to satisfy those late night hunger cravings. Let's talk about what indeed is next for these characters a little bit. Is there anything personally you want to see them achieve, now that they're not under the gun, saving the galaxy from threats? Is there any, I don't want to make every single decision right now, but is there any other options of the things that you've been talked about here that, you feel strongly one way or the other your character is definitely going to be doing in the next stage of their lives?
I just want all these people to be happy. Just happy. I've been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a couple times.
I think that as far as Andis goes, it's this is definitely the adventure that Andis 147. This is more adventure than Andis 147 ever hoped to get when they went out adventuring for the very first time with this crew. And as far as I'm concerned, Andis 148 is due for a nice rest, a nice nap.
Cattywampus says, "You guys have done it. You saved the galaxy yet again. Just an accidental skiing trip proposed by Knack here, but turned into another Civ threat. Maybe next time you can build like a tropical beach resort on a Civ research site or some other ancient warship or something."
I call that an accident.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's the new Starfinder curse word. An accidental.
I think when Adros would become maybe too old to travel across the galaxy, he would pick maybe a place. Maybe he would work with the Temple of Saren Ray and try to establish his own temple somewhere and start training soldiers in his own style of combat. Perhaps he would even call them the Knights of the Scaled Sun. In reference to his color, his coloring and the Saren Ray, standard Saren Ray sun imagery, and train them to be strong warriors, but also to be able to tap into the mystical abilities of Saren Ray. So
you angling to make a new class? Do you want to play like a hybrid class in season 5?
You mean a paladin? Yes, I would like a paladin.
Soldier / magic user. I want all the powers, please.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Cattywampus, as they start turning off the lights here at this Jubilee, you get a little sad, but he says, well, that looks like it's the end of the line. No more adventuring for you guys. You've pretty much taken on the biggest threat to the universe. So there's nowhere to go but down from here. It's like you hit a level cap or some kind of wall or something. It's a shame that you guys are never, ever, ever going to adventure with one another ever again after today. Oh, well, that's how the cookie crumbles. So, I don't know. I guess goodbye forever, everyone. See ya.
Goodbye.
Gets up and is getting ready to go. Smell you later.
Bye.
The classic sign off.
What if that's how this season ended?
With smell you later from Cattywampus?
We just cut there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I totally have more
forever.
After that, I definitely didn't want to end right now, Jabert. I don't know what you're talking about. No, we probably have another 20 minutes of podcast left. Don't look at the time on the phone right now. You guys can get up and say your goodbyes, but somehow deep inside, I think you all know the threads of fate that have led you all here, tied you together from day one, of getting lumped together in that dirty docking bay here on Absalom Station, all the way to this table, which the five of you 5 years later are sitting at. Somehow you guys would see one another again and perhaps bring back the spirit of the Drift Rider once more before too long. Our view of five of you at this table slowly fades to dark as Cattywampus walks away. They cut the lights to the council director banquet hall on you, and perhaps from afar atop this building we see a techno-magic light appear from outside its massive windows, and we pull away from Absalom Station and seeing those commemorative Voda Day purple and green lights flashing in the fleet that seems to form a protective nucleus around the heart of the Pact Worlds here, around the center of the universe. And as we pull further back, we see the colossal Civ starship parked far away from Absalom with a fleet of vessels ferrying survivors off Ark and onto other vessels. A crew of automatic drones are making repairs to the hull and coating the ship in an ionic chrome, erasing the last remnants of the Dominion's markings on the gargantuan mega ship. And we watch, perhaps on live Infosphere streams, along with millions of others aboard Absalom and the fleet, thanks to a live stream of dozens of channels. We see a small contingent of these drones working on the outside of Devastation Ark begin to paint two giant words along the port side edge. Anybody guess what those two words are?
Smell you later.
That's three. That's three. Two words.
And
oh no. There's
Drift
they spell out
Rider.
5 letters each, indeed. Drift Rider, and then the end.
So 4 words.
So I was kind of right.
I was closer with smell you later.
The end isn't actually happening in reality. That's just the end of season 4.
We didn't name our ship The End.
Drift Rider, the end.
Yeah, it's a good ship name.
Yeah, I think I wrote both down here just in case one of you said Drift Rider. I'd be like, no, it says the end. Guys, thanks so much for another stellar season of the show.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah. Once again, if you had told me now almost 6 years ago, 2017 August, these PCs, we would see them through like 130 episodes, multiple campaigns, getting them to level 20, I would have been like,
I don't like you that much.
you should have made better characters then.
Yeah.
You guys have any thoughts as players, putting a button on these characters and them after so many years?
I have a regret.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I forgot to bring up, except for maybe one time this whole season, is that through all of these adventures, every single one of them, on Alindra's hip the entire time was a little pet carrier holding
No,
the whole time.
that's not canon. He didn't say it while it was happening.
No, it's in my inventory. I have a pet harness.
You've kept that animal caged up the entire season. That's like
It's dead.
months of time. Yeah.
There's a husk of an old alien.
I think we talked about in the last book that they were not with you. We have to go back and listen. This has been a long season.
Yeah.
I had a
was trying
whole
to
bunch
look
of
through my
spell
notes. I was
gems,
like,
including
did I
some
ever
level 6
drop
spell
off
gems that I
Zodi?
did not use. this
No,
entire
no,
season.
Drew.
What, Drew? Really?
Yeah, no. When you get down to that final fight, it's like you got about 6 standard actions. You best start using them.
I was staggered, so what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, Drew had none standard actions.
No, staggered. You can do a move or a standard.
That's
it.
true. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah,
I chose to support my team.
Ooh.
Don't want to get too deep into it, but what did you guys think of Dominion's End, book 3 here?
Could have used
Just-
a nap.
Yeah, well, just starting with the
Yeah, a night of rest would have been nice.
Yeah, I really felt like running a marathon. It felt like there was no stopping, and we didn't have any, you know, even when we would finish a fight, it felt like we were on such a timetable that we needed to be in a rush. So
Yeah, and you guys did a great job doing so. Like I said,
I enjoyed it. It was
intense.
fun to be on a big starship. You know, it
Need a
was.
light ride.
I know there obviously it would have been, there were all these different species. It would have been cool to see more history there, but we got a good amount of it. So I was pretty happy with what we did get. And, you know, I think it would have been fun to have the AI Varanche heckling us the whole time over system comms. But, you know, again, what are you going to do?
Just every time you roll one, he's like, "Oh, that's gonna sting."
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Very
It might get a
mustache
little bit-
twirling.
Might get a little bit more to Borderlands humor style in there than what is meant for there to be, but
I don't know. It
it
might have
was a
given
fun
us
setting.
more motive to go and murder. The
we would have
AI,
hated
right?
him. We would have absolutely hated that guy.
Yeah, you seem more caring about, like, you know, taking over the thousands of starships and things out in the pact. What about Devastation Ark as a whole? Did you guys enjoy this campaign? Did you have a favorite book?
I think it's my favorite.
Book 3 was your favorite?
Oh, no, I think the campaign is my favorite.
Oh, really? Wow. Interesting. What about the rest of you?
I thought it was well done. I thought it was a great capstone to the whole saga. You know, you know, it's hard when you have, you know, dead civilization. You're trying to be like, we got to make these characters care about civilization that hasn't existed in many millennia. But I think they did a great job, and they were able to, you know, work in enough extra, you know, story beats to sort of give you a little backstory about who they were. And
I
Remember when we woke up as Civ for a month? That was fun.
oh my goodness gracious! I could have done without that probably.
Well, I was about to say I cut that part down a little bit. I think if you're trying to go for storytelling, you can like expand that a little bit, but it is hard to ask your players to be like, oh yeah, by the way, you're not yourselves.
Welcome to level 19. You're someone else now. Have fun.
That was level 18, I think.
That was level 18.
When you started
Either
the book.
way, still.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you went 18, 19, and 20 this book.
I think
Yeah,
I was
that's
freaked out. So like because that episode, because we had just been like 18, and when you first started speaking words and showing us like, oh, this is, you know, showing the tokens. I mean, like that's who you are now. Before you said, oh, you have all your abilities and stuff, I was like, oh, I was so upset. And then I was okay with it once I kind of figured out what was actually happening. And while I liked that part, it did take a long time.
I think book 2 is my favorite, just because I really enjoyed that final fight with in you know, in Absalom Station, but in the core, the Starstone core. It was a lot of fun. Great set piece. You know, huge room. And yeah, the last 2 weeks of this fight with the Civ were fun, but I don't think as fun as one big bad guy.
Niren is
great.
The GOAT.
But yeah, high level play in general. Did you guys enjoy having literally all the abilities, all the feats, everything at your disposal? Or
It did teach me that sometimes the way that high level things are written don't always mean that that's what high level things mean. As I tried to reject spells that were cast on me, and I wasn't able to do it.
Well, there weren't a ton of spellcasters in general, which is like, Starfinder in a nutshell. But what about, are you excited to get back to level 1?
No.
Excited to go to
not even a little bit.
I'm so excited.
I bet you are.
The amount of like prep work and like studying when I have to like look at like, your big bad you're fighting this week is like an electric weasel. It's like, oh boy, how am I going to prep for this one? How am I going to?
The amount of dice that Roll20 is going to have to roll is going to be a relief to Roll20.
Oh yeah,
Actually, lower.
It does not like rolling 20d6 what have you.
Yeah, no. This happens every single season practically, where we make level 1. We have our first combat at level 1, and then we all get off air and we go, man, this is just for the dogs.
Yeah.
Level 1 is tough because, first of all, you have fewer options to do, right? Like, I have one thing I can possibly do on my turn, so there's just not a lot of variety there. And then on top of that, it just feels so much more lethal. Like, everything is so much more likely to bring
it
you
feels
down.
Simultaneously more and less lethal, because it's like, oh no, you did 11 points of damage to me. That could be nothing.
Yeah, but 11 points of damage is all my HP.
Everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's I think that 2nd edition Pathfinder did a really great job at sort of iterating on this and like making classes at level 1 feel unique, and like their core sort of abilities and the way that they play is sort of unique from level 1 in a way that in Starfinder it feels pretty feels like it's not. I'm just saying, I'm really excited for like level 4 to roll around.
Yeah.
You feel like a one-trick pony for a little while, right? Inevitably.
Get them, and I shoot my gun.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a spellcaster and you have 2 spells, and you're just like, do I use it
Useless.
now?
Yeah.
Is this it? Is this the moment?
That's why I always used to get so frustrated when people are like, "Oh, why don't you use your spells?" I'm like, "Because I have 2 of them, and I had
in the beginning,
3 chances to use them."
yeah. You keep waiting for and that's it's kind of the trap, right? You wait for the special moment,
right?
And then it never comes.
Well, so the other trick with that one is, and I'm sorry, we can talk about this offline, but I was just like, you want to save it for that big like cool moment, forgetting that like the game is balanced around like the bosses like being able to just like shrug off any spell you can throw at them. And so you're just like, you get to the boss and you're like, suck on this, my most powerful spell. And that's all my spells for the day. And it did 0 damage.
Not at level 20.
Yeah,
I think Miles could cast disintegration like 10 times with magic axe.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I was waiting to get obliterated multiple times, but Miles, congratulations on making a Technomancer and getting him to level 20. I feel like that's probably some of the hardest kind of decision-making processes doing spellcasters in general. Maybe Introvert, except for Evolutionists. It sounded like they had a lot to manage as well.
There's a lot going on there, but
yes.
And you had a little bit of a different character building scenario and making a new level 13 character and not having like the previous 12 like to practice with.
Yeah, that's not super duper recommended to just go ahead and build a character right at level 13 and jump in. That was tricky.
That's hard.
Do you guys have any questions for me about this season before we wrap up our little post season chat?
Are you gonna miss it?
Notable that you modified for a character story from the AP?
Well,
or added?
Drew's season 2 character was his clone brother was not in the AP, obviously.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Include
You mean
Kaz?
Kaz's clone brother is not a Starfinder Paizo
not.
official thing now. I'm offended.
Obviously.
Honestly.
Yeah, the thing about this campaign is so much of it is like these big action movie storylines, and because you guys didn't have like a ton of history outside of the Bantrids or the Civ, this is like a great adventure that anyone can play, and there weren't as many opportunities for me to do that. I was hoping there'd be. There weren't. Especially book 3, there's like so little to tie into.
it's like one day.
Did you exist like 100,000 years ago when the Civ ship was around? No, okay. Yeah, and that is a good point. Book 3, old book 3 was like a day, a sprint indeed.
Yeah, we leveled twice in one day.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I'm super excited to announce that Season 5 of Cosmic Crit is not going to start right away. And I think we've talked a little bit about this, but this is the official announcement. We are having a guest GM come in between 4 and 5 and a new game for the next few weeks.
This is right. Wild. I'm not sure I signed on for this.
It's not me.
Drew is taking over as our full-time GM. And we're going to have episodes of us playing the Star Trek Adventures game with the host of the Computer Resume Star Trek podcast, Mr. Todd Davies. We've been streaming them for like the last year, it feels like now.
It's been a while.
And Drew, you're taking over as both GM for me and editor, joining Todd and myself in Starfleet Adventures along with Rebecca Tyler and Seth. Sorry, Miles and Jabert, you didn't get to go through the teleporter to join this adventure. So sorry. But
transporter, thank you. But
it teleports you though. It teleports you. It'll get you there.
No,
we've like I said, we've been playing on stream for a while, and if you've watched it live, it'll be a different experience listening to the podcast. But I'm excited to get to share those with the Crittermanders who don't watch us on Twitch. But I imagine if fans are still listening like 2 hours into this episode, they want those details about the official start of season 5 of Cosmic Crit, the Sweetie Deedees. And yeah, I'm ready to tell you all about episode 0 of our next season of the Starfinder role-playing game. Is going to start on Friday, April 21st, 2023, during our 6th annual CritterCon stream for charity. You all will be there for the first episode live on Twitch. And if you are there with us and you want to help donate to a great cause, we are going to be revealing the characters there in a double wide episode. If you're listening to this, CritterCon 6, by the way, signups for GM are live right now. And player signups are, I think, going to be live in about a week. They're going to start a month before. So March 20th around then, we'll have news up on our site and in our Discord. Yeah. And yeah, after our episode 0 for season 5, we're going to have a little Q&A, a live Q&A with the cast, talk about the season, talk about the characters. And yeah, I can't give away too much. We haven't even started playing, but I'm hyping it up for my players. This is going to be the biggest season of Cosmic Crit yet. It is going to have both the most episodes. It's going to have our landmark 300th episode in it, the most NPCs of any season, and maybe the most twisty-turny plot as far as seasons go so far. Are you guys excited? Because season 5 is the adventure path, Horizons of the Vast.
Man, it's going to be wild.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for years now, since the AP came out.
Patrick, I can announce this now. We made the decision while you were away from the video. I will be playing in season 5, the son of Knack.
Oh, what? That's a twist.
Ralph Nexon?
Knack was pregnant too?
Cheek pouches, time. Baby. Cheek pouches.
Knack is pregnant?
Yeah.
Pregnant?
Can you believe he did all of Devastation Ark
Well, the five of you aren't going to have to wait that long because we are going to
suck on that, Rihanna.
We are okay. The five of you, we're going to start playing some episodes beforehand, so your characters won't be surprised on episode 0 night. But for fans listening out there, they will have to wait for CritterCon, and then the episodes will start coming out live to the podcast feed after that. You guys haven't even told one another everything about your characters. We've not seen art yet. We're still a ways away from from diving in, but not too far. We're going to start playing very soon.
Fun.
But yeah. Until then, I just want to thank our fans out there for listening. Thank you all so much for spending the last 4 seasons with us. From our silent listeners, people that just download and enjoy the show, to our Crittermanders who've joined the Discord, who've now become friends, our Patreon supporters that help pay for the podcast and make stuff like the conventions, the charity conventions happen. We make this podcast because we love to game with one another, but also your support makes it so we never give up. Never, ever, ever, ever.
Even if we grow to bitterly hate one another.
Please
due to
stop
years
listening.
of TTRPG together.
Please stop downloading this podcast. So once again, 5 of you, thank you guys for another amazing season. I'm so surprised. You're both players and your characters have made it through. Everyone's happy and healthy here at the end. Thank you folks for playing with me.
Thank you,
Patrick.
As always.
That's it for season 4 of Cosmic Crit, everyone. Let's sign off these characters. The Starfinder salute, and we'll see you all next season.
So saw we ball.
So saw we ball.
So saw we bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Cosmic Crit, an officially licensed partner of Paizo Incorporated. The Starfinder role-playing game and adventure paths are trademarks of Paizo. All Pathfinder and Starfinder images are property of Paizo and are used with permission.